Hello, besties. Good morning. How are you feeling after you've cut a whole bunch of cords? Are you feeling more like yourself? A lot of times when people cut cords with a bunch of different stuff, they start realizing that they feel more like themselves than they have felt in a long time, or possibly ever. And it's hard to explain until you experience it for yourself, and then you suddenly realize, like, oh, I feel like myself. It's very weird and very cool. And so I hope you're experiencing it. I'd love to hear all about it if you care to share here or in my Facebook group, Intuitive Healing with Ali Duzette. Today, we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit and we're going to be talking about your bubble. Okay. Now, I used to call this the aura, but it got a little confusing because there are various like personality profiling systems that work with your colored aura. So that would be like, if you're a blue, you're a magenta, that idea that your aura has like all these colors, right, that radiate outwards and they kind of function as like filters for how you see the world and how your personality works. That is all very fun. And maybe one of these days I'll have some kind of expert on that on to come talk about that with us because it's really cool. But that is not my area of expertise. I want to tell you about my area of expertise when it comes to auras, which I think another better word for it might be the energy field, like the general energy field, or I'm just going to be calling it our bubble. You know your bubble because when people get into it, you're like, oh my gosh, get out of my bubble. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that egg of space around you where when people get into it, you're like, oh. Or you know that feeling that you get when you're being watched and like your spirit is just like, someone is watching me. I believe that part of that has to do with your bubble being aware of somebody else's energy field encroaching on your bubble. Okay. So we have these bubbles. We hate it when people get up close to our face. We all are selective about who gets to be in our bubble and who does not. Um, I don't know. Some people I used to call it an aura, but yeah, we're not gonna call it that for this purpose, but some people do call it that. Um, so when my third eye first opened and I like suddenly could see energy fields, the bubble is one that I would see all the time. Everybody's bubble, I could see it. But here's the trick. I couldn't see it for everybody, because it turns out sometimes your bubble goes through so much trauma, it just flees. It just goes away. It's like one too many people got into your space and you did not want them there, and your bubble just like explodes and runs away and it's gone. When that happens, we have a lot of I mean, it's just a very traumatic experience. It kind of goes both ways because the bubble only flees due to trauma. And then secondly, it's traumatic for your bubble to flee. So you're getting traumatized because of whatever made it go. And then it going is also traumatic for your system. Oh, what a bummer. A really common, reason why things flee like that, of course, is like abuse. Oh, um, but even things like car accidents or like sudden injuries and that kind of thing can cause problems with it. Now, when I first started seeing people's bubbles, one thing that I noticed is that a lot of times they were ripped. They might have a big old rip or tear in them. Sometimes it looked like they had a slash through it, like a cut. Um, Sometimes they would look like they were just kind of weak in a spot, or they would might bulge in a spot. Sometimes they would be totally fragmented, which was it's like kind of trippy to see. It kind of looks like a disco ball where it's like all of these little pieces, and it's like it's still in the shape of this egg around you, but like it's not together, it's fragmented. Okay. And when you have a bubble that's fragmented, well, stuff can just come right in to it, right? I mean, like it can just go through the cracks. So it's not functioning as a very good protection. Your bubble is meant to be a protection for you. And so when it has problems, then you also have problems. So over the next couple of days, we're going to be working on our bubble. And that's going to be really good. And I'm really excited about it. And I have not really done a lot of work on this before. I mean, I feel like it's kind of very basic work, but I don't know. Usually it just doesn't come up in my standard sessions, So I'm excited to be doing it right now. Finally, at last. So 10 years in, here we go. Um, I wrote this tapping script for us. Okay. We're going to say it 3 times. I am now accepting God's divine perspective on how to have an appropriate bubble. I am now accepting God's divine perspective on how to have an appropriate bubble. I am now accepting God's divine perspective on how to have an appropriate bubble. Okay, go ahead and put your hands on your heart and breathe it in. We're just going to imagine God's divine blueprint for how bubbles are supposed to function coming into our system and just letting us know what is it supposed to be like, okay? We're not fixing it right now. We're just giving it the instructions, like the instruction manual. Hey, buddy, you're broken. Do you even know what it's like to be fixed? Do you even know what it would entail to become fixed? Like, here's the instruction manual. That's all that we're doing right now, okay? Yeah, okay, that seems good. Double check. Let's double check. There's something else going on. Something feels off. We're missing something. Okay, right now we're going to tap out an ambient irritation related to our bubbles and to healing our bubbles. Okay, I think this is the blocks that other people have placed on us to prevent us from having a bubble. Okay, and here's what's coming into my mind is things like narcissistic abuse and like general abusers and people who maybe we wouldn't say are abusers, but are in the sense that they are using us inappropriately. I'm thinking of like that nice little old lady at the animal shelter who keeps guilt tripping you into coming in when you don't want to. Like that kind of thing where she's not like abusing you, but she kind of is. Like she is using you and like manipulating you. When people are used to manipulating us, they don't want us to have a functional bubble because when your bubble is functional, it's just a lot harder for you to fall for that crap. Okay. So we're just gonna tap and like clear out. Let's have some angels with vacuums come and like vacuum out other people's crap that's been like in the space where our bubbles should be. Let's remove other people's stuff. And we're gonna put in a protection of light, and it's like a scaffold. Like God's gonna build us this scaffold of light where our bubbles should be. I don't feel like it's safe to just like put in a whole new bubble right now because we got to work. You got to go in the right order, but we're going to keep going for the next couple of days. Yeah, but we're going to remove other people's blocks against us healing this. Yeah. And what I'm seeing is where before other people's energies were like assaulting you and like actually hitting you, now we have this divine scaffold in place. So when other people are sending this, come into the animal shelter, even though they don't want to, it like hits off our bubble and like goes out. It will not be this close. Your bubble should go like about as far out as your hands go. Like your bubble should be something like 7 feet across or something or more. I mean, like if you're a big, tall guy, like you should probably have a pretty enormous bubble, you know? So, um, okay. That looks good to me. Okay. We'll pause here. Like and subscribe. Come back tomorrow. We're going to keep working on tomorrow we're going to work on clearing some emotions out of the bubble. Okay? So not just your body, but your bubble emotions. Okay. It's going to be good. So I will see you there and have a good day.